Good morning, guys. This morning we're going to do a practical guide for using Zcashd. So here's our itinerary. We're going to load Zcashd, check the status of the network, check balance of wallets, and I'm going to show you guys how to prepare some ASCII to hex and hex to ASCII scripts that we can use to encode or decode memos that are going to be sent or received from Zcashd, and then I'll show you how to send a transaction shielded to a unified address, and then I'll show you how to check the result, and then I'll also show you a command that you can use to quickly see any memo that you received on your Zcashd wallet. So let's start with number one. I already have Zcashd loaded, so I'm just going to open my screen and show you. I got the new version 5.6.1, which I recommend everyone update to. Alright, so we've got Zcashd running. Let's check the status of the network. We do that with Zcash, command line interface, get info. Tells you your protocol version, your balance, the number of connections, and some other information. Alright, now let's check the status or the balance of our wallets. So there's a few different commands you can play with here. We're going to start with the get address for account 0. So we're going to go zcash-cli. So what this shows you is for your default account 0, your unified address and the diversifier index, and then the receiver types. In my case, I just used the default, so it has the peer-to-peer, KH, sapling, and orchard receivers that are available for this unified address. But notice it doesn't show you the balance. So let's go ahead and use another command to get that. Get total balance. There we go. So we got the transparent pool with 0 and a private pool which combines both sapling and orchard pools for a total of around 17 Zec. Or 0.17 Zec. So now we want to prepare these scripts which are necessary when sending shielded memos using Zcashd. So let's head over to this link. Okay, and they're real simple. So all you got to do is copy this. This will be the ASCII to hex. So we're going to right click, create document, ASCII to hex, open up. We're going to save. And then now we'll do the hex to ASCII. I'm going to save that too. Now we have these two scripts that are available for use. Now, one last thing. Oops. Notice how the ASCII to hex and hex to ASCII scripts are not green when you list the files of your directory. What that means is the file is not executable, so we need to change that so that you can actually run a script. So in Linux, the way you do that is you change mod plus X and then the file name X. Now they're green, which means they can be run. So we'll go ahead and clear that out. So let's do a test example. ASCII, oops. ASCII to hex, this is a test. So here is your hex version of this is a text. And then let's see here if we can copy that and go hex to desk. Paste that in. Oh, well, looks like it doesn't like the spaces. So let's fix this real quick. No spacing. There we go. Hex to ASCII. This is a test. There we go. So you get the idea. You use these scripts to convert to a format that Zcashd is able to read. So let's go ahead and go to our next task, which is send shielded transaction to a unified address. So I already have some Zcash in the orchard pool ready to go. And I'm going to use this as my sending address, and then I'm going to send it to this unified address here, which is on my mobile phone. So the format is Zcash command line interface Z send many, and here is where you will send. It's where the sending address is, and then here, this here is where the money is going to be going. So let me basically just plug and play this these addresses, and then notice some other commands in the memo field. Here is our hex memo. So let's actually fill that first. So we're going to do ASCII to hex demo. Okay, so we have our hex for the demo. Plug that in. And we're going to just do the 0.01. And then these commands here, one is the number of confirmations that requires before you can use the funds. And then the next option is the fee. So we're just going to use null, which is the default. And since I'm sending from Orchard Pool, it'll be full privacy. Now it is worth noting, if you have any errors when sending this, there are other options on the privacy policy. You got full privacy, you got allowed real recipients, which is what you'll want to use when you are sending from pool to pool, say from sapling to orchard or orchard to sapling. And then there's other options here, which I won't get into for now. Okay. So let me go ahead and quickly plug these babies in. And now our go here. All right, so now we are ready for sending the transaction. Paste it. And you'll notice an op ID shows up. every time you send a transaction with Zcashd, one of these op IDs will be sent to you. But it's not very helpful because we don't know what it means. So the way to check the result of that transaction is the getOperationResult command. So I'm going to do that by copying that ID and putting it in here. Copy, paste, enter, and here's what we got. We got a status. In this case, it was a success, and it told you how fast it executed, 3.15 seconds fast, and it tells you the amount, and it also tells you the memo. So to further confirm, let's take this transaction ID, copy, put it into zcashexplorer.com, and we already have one confirmation. You can see you have the default fee 0.0001 ZEC, and everything's great. Now, let's see here. Last thing we're going to talk about is, let's say you want to quickly check the memos that you may have received when you were away from your computer. How would you do it? So there's a quick command here called zlist_unspent, and then you send it to grep, which will fine-tune it for just the memo strings, which is what we want. So, as an example, let's see if this works. Very cool. So as you can see, I've gotten some Zcash for sending memes to Zeme Team, and I also was part of Zug, which you can see for part of the newsletter, shielded newsletter. So cool. I hope this has been helpful. And I encourage everyone to use Zcashd. It's not only fun, it's more decentralized, and yeah, thank you.